India deserves a position there, a role there.
Prime Minister Modi during
Hello and welcome, I'm Thomas Porteous and you're watching the World Report on NewsX World. Let's in fact take a look at the top headlines of the hour. The United States says it carries out a strike against Islamic State militants in northwest Nigeria at the request of the Nigerian government. President Donald Trump and the US military say the group is accused of targeting Christians in the region. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says a call with US envoys Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff brings new ideas on formats, meetings and timing to move closer to peace. He says he passes Christmas greetings to President Donald Trump as Moscow says it is analysing related proposals. Japan's government approves a record $785 billion budget as Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi seeks to balance active spending with debt concerns. The administration says it aims to reassure investors amid rising bond yields and a weak yen by limiting new borrowing. South Korea's special prosecutor asks for a 10-year prison sentence for ousted President Yoon Suk-yeol over charges linked to his failed martial law bid. Prosecutors say he tried to block arrest in January by barricading himself inside the presidential compound. Myanmar says it will hold a third phase of general election voting on January the 25th as the country remains in civil conflict. State media says earlier voting phases can take place on December the 28th and January the 11th, covering most of the country's townships. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says the country will keep developing missiles as he visits major munitions facilities, calling weapons production crucial for deterrence. State media says he approves modernization plans for the defense industry ahead of a 2026 party congress that will set a 5-year strategy. The Israeli military says its forces kill a Quds Force operative in Lebanon, identifying him as Hussein Mahmoud Mashad al-Jawari and calling him a key figure in Unit 840. Israel says he was involved in planning attacks from Syria and Lebanon and was killed in the Ansariya area. The White House says new details on President Trump's proposed East Wing ballroom will be unveiled at a hearing next month. The project, estimated at $400 million, faces court challenges and political criticism over cost, preservation concerns and potential donor influence. We start in Europe with our top story of the hour, and a US judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from detaining British anti-disinformation campaigner Imran Ahmed after he sued US officials over an entry ban and the threat of deportation. Ahmed, a legal permanent resident living in New York, says he feared imminent removal that would separate him from his wife and child, who are also both US citizens. This week, Washington imposed visa bans on Ahmed and 4 Europeans, including former French EU Commissioner Thierry Breton, accusing them of censoring free speech and unfairly targeting American tech giants. US officials say their presence could have serious foreign policy consequences, a claim that has sparked an outcry from European governments who argue that such regulation makes the internet safer. US District Judge Vernon Broderick issued a temporary restraining order preventing authorities from arresting or detaining Ahmed until his case is heard and set a court conference for December the 29th. Ahmed named Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Homeland Security Advisor Kristi Noem in his lawsuit, saying his rights to free speech and due process are being violated. Okay, joining us now is Major General Rajan Kochar. He is an international relations and defense expert. He joins us live from New Delhi. What are your thoughts on this story? Of course, Donald Trump and his ongoing deportation plan. This judge has granted an injunction from blocking the United States from detaining a British anti-disinformation activist. Your thoughts on how the Trump administration has acted here, and does this set a precedent further down the line?
Good morning, Thomas. I think it's a very interesting discussion right in the morning because it also concerns the freedom of expression, and it also impacts all the researchers and all those people who are into research or who are into article writing. So I think as far as Trump is concerned, whether he's justified or not, it fits into the broader Trump revival of hardline tech nationalism. And I would qualify by saying that all tech policies, visas, sanctions, and national security are being increasingly merged because that is what Trump administration has been aiming at. And disinformation is treated as a quasi hostile activity as far as the Trump administration is concerned, and especially when it is conducted by the civil society actors. So this case actually highlights two things. One is executive power in immigration and sanctions policy. Second is judicial oversight, protecting the due process and civil liberties and for the people who are immigrants also. So I think it's a precedent also for tech activists also. They need to be careful because it creates a chilling effect also in case they start engaging on global tech policies, engagement with the United States. Secondly, he is a British
Yeah.
citizen or he is a British national. This also has inherent risks because British or Great Britain is a close Five Eye intelligence cooperation ally of the Americans. So some kind of diplomatic fallout also one may see that. Secondly, a larger issue, weaponization of disinformation. So this case actually underscores.
Dr. Kochar, I'm just going to rephrase something. Do you think sanctioning these activists and also tech campaigners undermine the democratic values that the United States continues to claim to defend?
Definitely, because see, it directly impinges upon your expression of a particular point of view. And if your expression of that point of view is not in sync with the thinking of the administration, that doesn't mean that your voice can be muffed. So I think a very good question you have posed here is because we must look at the larger issue of freedom of the press, freedom of expression, and civil liberty. So all these things are complementary with each other, and when Washington tries to project the image, outside the world that it is a policeman for all these activities. If other countries indulge in these kind of activities, Washington is the first one to draw criticism. So they also have to look in-house to their own functioning. And I think this does not augur well for a vibrant democracy, one of the oldest democracies as far as the USA is concerned.
Yes, Dr. Kochar, stay with us as we have further updates for our viewers, but this time coming out of the Middle East next. And the Israeli military says it has killed a member of Iran's elite Quds Force in Lebanon. In a statement, the military identified the man as Hussein Mahmoud Marshad al-Jawari, describing him as a key operative in Unit 840, which Israel says plans attacks against Israeli targets from Syria and from Lebanon. The military said al-Zawahiri was assassinated in the area of Ansariya, though it did not provide details on how the operation was carried out. It released aerial video showing a strike on a vehicle, which it says shows the attack. Reuters has not been able to independently verify this or the location where the footage was taken, however, which is what we're showing you right now on your screen. Israel says al-Zawahiri operated under Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps and was involved in Iran-directed activities against Israel. The killing comes amid nearly daily Israeli strikes on Lebanon, despite a US-backed ceasefire reached in November 2024, aimed at ending fighting with Hezbollah. There was no immediate comment from Iran or Lebanon on this situation. Dr. Kochar joins us once again. What more can you tell us about this QUDS, and how significant is this militarily in the region?
Thomas, extremely significant because Quds Force is Iran's external operation arm. There is a Republican force which is within Iran, and it takes over the security aspects of the government. And there is the Quds Force, which is the external operation arm, and it's responsible for Hezbollah coordination. Regional proxy warfare also is carried out through this military wing of Iran. And the third is that all the precision missiles and the UAV missions are coordinated by the Quds Force. This Quds Force is a highly trained organization, and it's got a leadership structure, and it works like you can say a semi-military force or a semi-army of a country. So Israel considers Lebanon as a Iranian forward operating theater. And that is what is happening today, because any kind of this movement, and we must compliment the Mossad on their intelligence network as far as this is concerned, because they are able to pinpoint and they are able to earmark any kind of such activity which takes place on the soil of Lebanon, which can be a threat to Iran, because the very fact that a senior general of this Quds Force has been eliminated,
Yes.
it shows that Israel is constantly monitoring what is happening in Lebanon, because what can happen is that in case Israel does not carry out this activity, it will not be able to give a deterrence to Iran, a domestic reinsurance to his own people that its security has been taken care of, and a warning to Hezbollah against widening the conflict, because what we are seeing is there is a broader Lebanon campaign now going on, and especially after the Gaza spillover takes place, we can anticipate something, some kind of a Hezbollah retaliation from Lebanon. So I think Israel is quite situation, and therefore Israel is trying to target whatever kind of activity emanates from Lebanon.
And how do you analyze the current stability of Lebanon? Now, of course, you have Hezbollah there, which between the Lebanese government and Israel, they've said that they're wanting to disarm it. How do you analyze the security, the stability of that country currently under the Lebanese government? And of course, there's those calls for disarming. How successful are they turning out to be?
See, it's not. It's not possible to actually disarm the Hezbollahs in Lebanon because they have a strong hold on the government, and they are part of the governance also of the government. So I don't think that it would be possible to disarm them. But what has been done by the Israel is that they have blocked the logistic routes, which earlier were coming through Syria, because southern part of Syria has been dominated by the Israel, especially the Golan Heights and those areas around that. And whatever logistics used to be coming from the Iran side, Iraq side, and onwards to Syria and into Lebanon, that logistics has been to a very, very great extent has been curbed. So I think to that extent, Hezbollah has been weakened. So in a conflict, in an ongoing conflict, it could be more of a nuisance value rather than any kind of a military value, because a large amount of their leaders have already been liquidated. It takes time to develop leadership in an organization. And secondly, their your arsenal and their your equipment and the kind of missiles they
Yes.
were boasting of having once upon a time have been depleted, and no further replenishments are able to come. So I think Iran is trying to work out a mechanism how Hezbollah can be resuscitated. So I think that intelligence input is available with Israel, and Israel is ensuring that no kind of such movement of the Quds Force takes place in Lebanon.
Yes, Major General Dr. Rajan Kochar, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and get some of your insight here on the programme. We now move on and over to the Indo-Pacific, and Malaysia's former Prime Minister Najib Razak faces judgment for his alleged involvement in one MDB megagraft scandal, with a guilty verdict which is likely to add years to a sentence which is already being served. Razak faces 4 counts of abuse of power and 21 counts of money laundering related to the plunder of hundreds of millions of dollars from the Southeast Asian nation's 1MDB sovereign wealth fund, sparking probes in several different countries. Meanwhile, the verdict proceedings will be held at the Kuala Lumpur High Court in Malaysia's administrative capital, Putrajaya. Judge Colin Lawrence Sequeira will deliver the verdict in the marathon trial, which is seen as the main case in the 1MDB affair, and it involves a sum of $563 million. However, the prosecutors have stated that Najib has abused his position as Prime Minister, Finance Minister and 1MDB Advisory Board Chairman to move large amounts of money from the fund to his personal accounts more than a decade ago. Joining us now is Dr. Sanjay Kumar. He is a journalist at the Korea Herald. He joins us live from Seoul in this discussion. Dr. Kumar, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure. What more can you tell us about this case, and why is it so significant?
Thomas, this case is very significant because Malaysia has a kind of institutional responsibility and has to show an effort to somehow demonstrate judicial independence in the country and address the systemic corruption and the transparency, because the public trust has to be upheld because in Malaysia it is signaling not a very positive aspect of the Malaysian leadership among the public. And that is why, to restore the public trust in Malaysia, people want to see just a free and fair trial to have a judicial kind of trust. And that is why it is the duty of the Malaysian government and the authorities right now to show some example like this. And as it is a matter of wealth accumulation and when wealth funds are involved, it does affect the national development, and the national development of a country like Malaysia can be implicated, and that is why Malaysian public is watching very closely the developments. Yeah.
And can you tell anything to us about this man, the former Prime Minister Najib Razak, the man at the centre of this case?
See, investigations had been ongoing, and the court still has to decide whether to arrest him, or like what kind of proceedings they are going to take. It is still still very early to say, but the things are in legal system in public, and that is why any kind of misconduct, especially when I say misconduct, I'm trying to say the financial misconduct. If he is found he is found guilty in those misconduct, definitely he is going to face like very tough punishments. Yeah, this is right now we can say.
Yes, Dr. Kumar, thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you here on NewsX World. We now move on and we stay in the region for our next story, but move east. And China has launched 3 new state-backed venture capital funds to invest in hard technology sectors such as semiconductors in a bid to strengthen domestic innovation. Each fund exceeds 50 billion yuan, targeting industries crucial for future growth and technological self-reliance. The move aims to reduce dependence on foreign technology with a focus on long-term industrial development. Meanwhile, the funds are being launched amid China's push for economic resilience and technological advancement. This new initiative underscores the country's commitment to strengthening its tech sector, especially in hardware-based industries, as it seeks to position itself as a global leader in tech. We move on to more news from China, and its Statistics Bureau has said that the size of the country's economy in 2024 was revised down on nominal terms. Official data shows China's nominal GDP stood at 134.8 billion yuan, or about $19.23 trillion. The revision puts final GDP 101.8 billion yuan lower than its preliminary estimates. Despite the downward adjustment, officials maintain a positive outlook. In July, China's state planner said the economy is expected to exceed 140 yuan in 2025. Well, that's all that we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more international updates.